Beyond the Table: Why Building New Worlds Matters More Than Getting a Seat. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I want to begin by acknowledging the extraordinary mind behind many of the insights I'll share with you today. Coratta Williams is not merely a visionary. She is a revolutionary architect of new paradigms who has fundamentally reshaped how we understand success, leadership, and community empowerment for Black professionals. Her work transcends traditional boundaries, challenging us to reimagine the very foundations of power and influence in spaces where representation has historically been limited. Through her groundbreaking research and fearless advocacy, Coratta has illuminated pathways that many couldn't even envision, creating blueprints for liberation that will echo through generations to come. What struck me most profoundly during my conversations with Coratta was a counterintuitive truth that we rarely acknowledge in our discussions about equity and advancement. True empowerment for Black professionals and entrepreneurs often comes not just from breaking into spaces where we've historically been excluded, but from completely redefining what leadership and success look like on our own terms. This is a radical idea. It's disruptive. It's uncomfortable because for generations, we've been conditioned to believe that success means assimilation, that power requires entry into existing systems, that influence demands conformity to established models. But what if we've been thinking about this all wrong? What if the most transformative path forward isn't just about getting a seat at someone else's table, but about building entirely new tables, new rooms, new buildings, new worlds? This is the essence of what I call the new table paradigm, and it challenges everything we think we know about success, power, and progress. For generations, we've measured advancement by counting how many of us made it into rooms where we were previously excluded. We celebrated the first Black person to break this barrier or that ceiling. And those achievements matter. They absolutely matter. But there's something even more powerful happening now: the creation of entirely new centers of influence that reflect our values, serve our communities, and redefine what leadership looks like. Let me share a story that illuminates this shift in thinking. In 2025, Redemption Holding Company, led by Ashley D. Bell, a former White House policy advisor, acquired a Holiday Bank and Trust in Salt Lake City. They transformed it into Redemption Bank, the first Black owned bank in the entire Rocky Mountain region. Now, pause for a moment and consider the conventional wisdom. Where would you expect to find a thriving Black owned financial institution? Probably in a major urban center with a significant Black population, right? That would be the logical approach. But Redemption Bank established itself in an area with less than 3% Black population. They pioneered what had been a Black banking desert, creating financial infrastructure where none had existed before. The challenges were immense. Beyond operating in an area with minimal Black representation, they faced regulatory delays following the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. The conventional wisdom would suggest this was impossible timing, impossible demographics, impossible conditions. Yet, through persistent advocacy with federal agencies and strategic leadership appointments, including Dr. Bernice A. King as VP for Corporate Partnerships, they not only survived, but thrived. They tripled their assets to $68 million by the end of 2024 and set ambitious goals to grow another $50, 60 million by the end of 2025. This wasn't just about creating a successful bank. It was about proving that ownership can shift industry power dynamics far beyond traditional enclaves. It was about demonstrating that innovation flourishes when we build new legacies, even in places where few expect us to lead. This is the first key insight from my conversations with Coratta. Success for Black professionals isn't just about assimilation into existing systems, it's about building new ones that reflect our values and serve our communities. But there's more to this story. The second insight Kurata shared is equally powerful. Resilience breeds innovation. Facing unique challenges like being the only one in the room or operating in environments with little representation can actually become a catalyst for innovative solutions and bold leadership. Consider the journey of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Most know him first as a musician, but his transformation into a business mogul represents one of the most remarkable pivots in entertainment history. Jackson rose from personal tragedy, overcoming poverty and violence, to become one of cable TV's highest paid executives while expanding his business empire across multiple industries. Well, when he first moved from music to entrepreneurship, he faced tremendous skepticism. The conventional path would have been to stick with what had already brought him success. Instead, he leveraged his brand strategically, diversifying investments across entertainment, beverages with his famous vitamin water deal, media production, and more. He became a New York Times best-selling author and the youngest person ever traded on the NISA through his business ventures. What's remarkable isn't just his personal success, but how he's inspired countless underrepresented entrepreneurs by illustrating that reinvention fuels longevity and that visibility at high levels changes perceptions within corporate America. The adversity he faced didn't limit him, it became the very foundation of his innovative approach to business. This brings us to Karada's third key insight: community impact is power. The ripple effect of individual accomplishments can uplift entire communities, setting new standards for what's possible within industries traditionally lacking diversity. Lawana Harris embodies this principle perfectly. As the author of Diversity Beyond Lip Service, she completely reframed how organizations approach diversity, equity, and inclusion work, moving from compliance mandates to coaching principles. Harris faced significant resistance within organizations that treated DEI as checkbox exercises instead of cultural transformation opportunities. Rather than accepting the status quo, she developed actionable frameworks that empowered employees and leaders alike, regardless of their formal coaching background. The result? She helped companies move past performative efforts toward measurable change through honest dialogue and coaching practices. She shifted organizational mindsets nationwide, demonstrating that sustainable progress stems from authentic engagement at all levels. Her work didn't just advance her own career, it created pathways for countless others to thrive while driving equitable change throughout entire organizations. Now, I want to pause here and acknowledge something important. These stories might sound exceptional. You might be thinking, well, that's 50 Cent. That's a pioneering bank and that's a recognized thought leader. What does this have to do with me? Everything. It has everything to do with you because what Karada helped me understand is that this isn't just about extraordinary individuals doing extraordinary things. It's about a fundamental shift in how we conceptualize success itself. For too long, we've operated under the assumption that success means conforming to existing structures. That power is something granted to us by others. That influence requires permission. But what if success actually means creating new structures that align with our values? What if power comes from serving communities in ways they've never been served before? What if influence something we generate through innovation rather than something we're given through acceptance? This is the profound shift that's happening right now. And it's happening not just at the highest levels of business and finance, but in communities across the country, in organizations of every size, in the daily choices of professionals who decide to redefine what leadership looks like. I'm reminded of a powerful affirmation. I am not just seeking a seat at the table, I am building new tables where my full self is welcomed, valued, and empowered. This isn't about rejection of existing structures, it's about the creation of new possibilities. When we let go of the cape of conformity, when we release ourselves from the burden of fitting into spaces not designed for us, we discover something remarkable: the freedom to create space that reflect our values, serve our communities, and advance our vision. This isn't easy work. Building new tables requires courage. It demands resilience. It calls for a willingness to venture into territories where few have gone before. But as Coratta's research shows, this approach isn't just idealistic, it's effective. Redemption Bank didn't just survive in an unlikely location, it thrived. Curtis Jackson didn't just maintain his success, he multiplied it. Lawana Harris didn't just advance her career, she transformed entire organizational cultures. So I stand before you today with an urgent challenge. Stop waiting for permission to lead. Stop measuring your worth by your proximity to power structures that weren't built with you in mind. Stop believing that success means assimilation. Instead, ask yourself, what would it look like if I built something entirely new? What if I defined success on my own terms? What if my greatest contribution isn't fitting into existing systems, but creating better ones? This isn't just about individual advancement, it's about collective transformation. It's about creating legacy institutions that will serve communities for generations to come. It's about redefining what power looks like, what leadership embodies, and what success truly means. Tomorrow, when you wake up, I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I spending my energy trying to get a seat at someone else's table? Or am I building a new table that reflects my values and serves my community? And then I want you to make one bold move, just one, toward building something new. Because the world doesn't just need you to succeed within existing systems. The world needs you to reimagine what those systems could be. The world needs your vision, your values, your voice, not diluted to fit into spaces that weren't designed for you, but amplified to create spaces that transform what's possible for everyone. The most revolutionary act isn't just breaking barriers, it's building new worlds. And that work begins today with you. Thank you.